That's one of the best podcasts ever. Ever. Top 5 dead or alive.
Welcome to Pod Caviar. I'm your host, Tony, coming at you live from the Empire of Caviar Studios here in beautiful Los Angeles, bruh. Welcome to the new season of Pod Caviar, season 7. Okay, season 7, episode 1. The same great podcast with the same great content. Today we're going to be talking about Roswell and aliens. Hooray! We've really become the alien podcast, and it's kind of like by design, but like aliens and UFOs are so hot right now, more so than I've ever seen them before. So I would be an idiot not to strike while the iron's hot. And this is something that I've extensively researched. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. I kind of sort of do, but nobody has real answers for UFOs. But we can, as we've always done on this podcast, use logic and connect some dots. And that's what we're going to do today. But let's talk about Roswell, specifically this article I saw recently on Bro Bible. It came out at the beginning of October 9th. 2021. Hold on. I'm going to mute the music. There we go. It says, resurfaced letter written by Roswell witness details the craft and, quote, humanoids at the site. Basically, look, man, in Roswell, New Mexico, this happened July 8th, 1947. There was supposedly an alien spacecraft, a flying saucer, that crashed in Roswell. There has never been a official story by the government. I think the government said that it was just a weather balloon that crashed. It got struck by lightning and crashed. But see, here's the thing. Roswell, I looked up the weather report for Roswell, New Mexico for July. Oh, wait, no, this is July 19th, 1947. Hold up now. Nothing matters with the fact that July mistakenly issued a press release saying they recovered a flying disk from Roswell. Yeah. See, part of the article, it says not helping matters was the fact that on July 8th, 1947, Roswell Army Airfield mistakenly, quote unquote, issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc, quote unquote, from a ranch near Roswell before quickly retracting it and changing the object to a weather balloon. And it's weird that we've been talking about this forever. And I am going to tell you right now that I do not think that an alien craft, flying saucer rather, crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. And I'm going to explain why in a minute, but let me fix this because I have the weather. It happened on July 7th, 1947. So I'm going to go back to my Weather Underground app. July 7th? Is that what I said? Yeah, 1947. And so let's see. Supposedly, it was a weather balloon. It was something got struck by lightning, but I feel like was there any? There was no. The maximum wind speed was 18 miles per hour. Visibility 60 miles, so that's pretty far. Was there any precipitation? No precipitation. The high temp was 96, low temp was 65, daily average temp 86. And basically, there's nothing that points to any sort of electrical interference, atmospheric, nothing, no thunderstorm, no storm. It didn't even rain. It's literally 0.00. So what happened? What happened? Was it a weather balloon? Was it? I tell you what it wasn't. Okay. It wasn't aliens. And see, here's the thing. When you have these conspiracies, all right? Conspiracies, they live off of speculation. They live off of emotions, basically. They don't live off logic, right? And this is the same thing with the 9/11 people that think that the government, it was some sort of government cover up, right? We talked about this during the Trail of Terror, Graham and I. We had many different episodes we talk about an event. We talk about what people thought happened, and we explain why we don't think that the conspiracies are true, and we throw logic at it. And hold on, I'm sending the text real quick. All right, but the same thing about 9/11, the conspiracies. You think the government would plan and carry out something that major on U.S. soil in 2001 and nobody has any solid evidence? Nobody has a document. Nobody has anything that says without a shadow of a doubt. Like, this was never reported on any major news outlet. And I know people like mainstream media isn't real. They just control the narrative. Okay, yeah, that's cool. But you don't think that CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News would run to the studio, get the studio fired up, special report. Hey, we have proof that the United States carried out 9/11. You don't think that they would have, and then why would we carry out? Here's the thing, okay? We didn't have to have a massive attack on America for us to enact the Patriot Act and then go to war. America doesn't really need a reason to go to war, bruh. We don't. And you don't think that the terror attacks that happened on 9/11, if they happen in a different country, let's say it happened in Canada, you know, I don't wish that, but let's just think that there's a reality out there where 9/11 didn't happen in New York, in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, in Washington, D.C. It happened in like Toronto or Quebec. With it being that close to America, we would still have the Patriot Act. We would still use a massive terror event to push the narrative of having the Patriot Act. These things are separate. They happen together, but they're separate. 9/11 happened, and then there was a need for the Patriot Act. You know, you didn't have to plan and carry out 9/11 in order to get the Patriot Act. You could have any sort of terror attack, any sort of fear of like terror, like terror cells in America. And this is how the news comes in the general public and how people think. Go back to season 6. I had an episode, episode 9, where I said this is how fear mongering works. It works off the minds and the anxiousness of is anxiousness a word? It just works off the emotions of the people, where if you think that something is going to happen, or if you really feel that something is going to happen and the general public is really scared that something is going to happen, then you can be like, hey man, look, we have credible intel that says, credible quote unquote intel, that there may or may not be terror cells working and operating within the borders of the mainland United States. or its allies, or one of the territories of the United States, and that they're planning something big in order for us to get them before they get us. We need to have a Patriot Act. I know I'm digressing some and I'm getting off the subject of aliens, but this is connected. It is along the same lines, right? So if logic dictates that the United States government would not be able to plan and carry out a series of terror attacks like 9/11, why would you think that they would be able to keep aliens a secret, right? We already talked about how massive the universe is and how, especially now in 2021, with all the technology that we have available, with all the amateur astronomers, what do you think they're looking for? Half of them are looking for planets and like black holes and nebulas and like galaxies that we haven't discovered, right? And the other half are looking for intelligent life. I have come to the conclusion that there is intelligent life in the universe, right? But because it's so massive, just like we're on planet Earth looking up at the stars like, I wonder if there's anything else out there. There's aliens on other planets looking up at their sky like, I wonder if anything's out there. Are we the only ones? The only way that intelligent life is aware of other intelligent life is if it's in the same galaxy. So if we are for instance, we're on Earth. If we knew for a fact that there were not even intelligent, but like life on, let's say, Venus or Pluto or Neptune, damn, that shit was crazy. Something fell over. But it would be local, right? Just like on shorturl.at, I got the aliens a local shirt, right? Because they have to be. They would have to be for us to know, because how is an alien going to travel from their planet in let's say that they're 10 light years away? If you remember from the previous episode, 10 light years means that they have to travel at the speed of light for 10 years to get from their planet to our planet. That is a long time, bruh. That is a lot of distance. The thing is, because of physics and because of how space travel is, if you point a spaceship in a direction and you just turn on the boosters, turn on the rockets and send it that way, it'll just travel that way until something knocks it off course or something of equal force comes at it and it stops, right? So let's say you have a highway from Earth to, I don't know, make up a planet, Alienville, in a galaxy that's 10 light years away. I agree. That's 10 light years away. And on this highway, you put a rocket ship on it, you boost it, it goes and nothing gets in its way. It makes it there 10 light years from now. It's there. The issue is not traveling that far. The issue is staying alive that long, right? And I'm not even talking about how what kind of spacecraft do you need in order to make sure that it can travel at the speed of light. Let's say we got all that figured out. The only thing that we don't have figured out is how are we going to keep humans alive long enough to make the journey? Because we don't have suspended animation. That's really a theory. It's not something that we practice. It's not practical. It's not something that the general population is familiar with. It's more sci-fi than reality. And aliens have to be the same way, right? And why would they come to Earth? A lot of Hollywood movies would say so they can take our water. But I thought about this the other day. If aliens are smart enough to travel the universe, make it here, survive that long trip, they're not smart enough to make their own water. So they're advanced enough to have spacecraft that can travel great distances through the planet, or not the planet, from planet to planet through the universe. But they can't make their own water. They can't figure out how to make water, you know? So they have to take our water. It's safe to say that even scientists and astronomers here on our planet have figured out that there is water on other planets. I'm pretty sure there's ice on Mars, right? So why would aliens come here to take our water when they can just make it there themselves? You feel me? It's like, it's one of those things where you're that advanced. You're advanced to make this, but you can't make this. It's weird. And that's another reason why I'm not on the board of aliens coming here for our water or anything like that. I don't agree with the Roswell incident. I think that it's just a bunch of urban legends. You know, I don't think that it was a weather balloon, because we know that weather balloon is a code word for something that is most likely just an experimental aircraft. We're talking 1947. We're fresh off of World War II. World War II saw a lot of technological advances, especially from the Germans. You know, they were there. They were trying out a lot of this stuff. Of course, America had, we developed the atom bomb, the nuclear weapons that we used against Japan. But there were so many technological advances. Why wouldn't is it out of the realm of reality to think that maybe what happened in Roswell wasn't an alien spacecraft, but rather an experimental spacecraft that the government didn't want to reveal to the public anymore? Or not anymore, but yet, or at all. And I want to believe that aliens are real. I want to believe that they come here. And I've seen weird things in the sky. I have seen but at the same time, it's like, could it be aliens, or is it something that was created on Earth? There's never been clear footage of aliens. Everything is always grainy. Everything is always sketchy. It's always sus. It's never anything. It's like Bigfoot. You know, Bigfoot, you got the old footage that looks grainy as hell. You got the picture where he's got his arm, one arm is going forward, one arm is going back, and he's just strolling. He looks like one of the Beatles going across Abbey Road, you know? It's like, bruh, if it's real, same thing with Loch Ness Monster, Old Tree Fitty. You feel me? If it's real, then why hasn't it been proven? In 2021, we have more technology than we've ever had before as humans, and most of that technology is pointed up in the sky. And if you're like, well, the government doesn't want to say it, they want to keep it under wraps because they have agreements with the alien civilization. Like, are you serious, bro? This is supposed to be the same government that this is the same government, bro. I don't even have to describe it. If you're an American, all you got to do is be like, this is the same government that you, and everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, the same government. No, bro, no, it's not that. Okay, it's not that. It's not it. You're going to have somebody leak that, man. You're going to have an astronomer that's going to pick up a signal. You're going to have somebody that's going to see something. You're going to have proof. You're going to have solid proof if there was something out there. And I know there's something out there. The universe is mass. There is something out there, bruh. But because there's no real way to travel from millions of light years away, it's just not going to happen, bruh. It would be detected. So yes, there is intelligent life. It is intelligent life out there, but because of the size of the universe and the technology involved, these intelligent life, they either know about intelligent life within their own solar system, or they don't. They're like humans on Earth. I believe that we're not the only intelligent life in the universe, but we are the only intelligent life in our galaxy. We don't have any neighbors, quote unquote. And that's fine. Like, that's fine. That's fine. I want people to just look past the excitement of knowing that there's aliens out there and that aliens crashed in Roswell. Even on Wikipedia, it starts off the Roswell incident is the 1947 recovery of United States Army Air Force's balloon debris from a ranch near Corona, New Mexico by Roswell Army airfield officers, and the subsequent conspiracy theories claiming that the debris involved a flying saucer and that the truth had been covered up by the United States government. I feel like the only proof that was covered up is that it was either an experimental aircraft and the weather balloon was the cover up, instead of them saying, yeah, we're testing this new aircraft that might be a flying saucer, which we have seen because the Germans tried the same thing. So it would just make sense for us to try to do it ourselves. So they were testing an experimental aircraft. It crashed. They had to find something. Maybe it was an experimental American-made flying saucer that crashed. We didn't want the public knowing that. We had this experimental aircraft, so we had to come up with something. And there we go, the weather balloon. I mean, it makes sense though, right? Right? What's more believable? What's more believable, right? Aliens that have been kept a secret this whole time, and all we have are these shady stories, bruh. Like this whole thing from Bro Bible. It starts out, a newly resurfaced letter written by a military witness to the Roswell incident goes into great detail about the craft and humanoids he saw at the site. And then you scroll down. I'll put the link in the description. I gotta make sure I put the link in the description for this one and the other website that it linked to. But the article on Bro Bible has an excerpt that says, my father said when the general told the MP, basically this guy was in the military. He was in the army. He got flown out to Roswell to go pick up something. And hold on. He was familiar with jet aircraft. So they came up to the wreckage. The general asked him what he thought of it. And his father said that the wreckage was unlike anything he had ever seen before. Okay. So that doesn't mean alien. That means experimental, right? What? Yo, hold up. I got YouTube on in the background. You can't see this, but there's a Popeyes commercial. It's like a loop of old 90s commercials. Apparently Popeyes used to have a cup of fruit. Is that fruit salad? What? Have I had that? Man, that's crazy. What year is this? 1989. I might not have had that. That's kind of like I was there, but I was just, I don't know. But yeah, Popeyes used to have fruit salad. That's weird. That'd be the last thing that I would think Popeyes would have, especially now. Their mac and cheese is good though. Chick-fil-A better watch out. But yeah, it says nothing resembled the shape of a conventional airplane or rocket. There were chunky pieces of relatively intact metal frame and many smaller, thinner pieces that looked like a fuselage. Everything was made of a strange metal alloy that he called unobtainium. Let's see if we Google that. What are we going to get? Are we going to get a hit on that? Unobtainium, blah, blah, blah. It's a highly valuable mineral found on the moon Pandora. What? Humans mine for any RDA was what the fuck? Oh, Avatar. Bruh, what? The first thing that pops up is Avatar Waiki from the movie? Hold up. In fiction, yeah? It's fictional. It's not real, bruh. It's not real. Look, yeah, this is Avatar the movie, bruh. It says unibotanium, I'm butchering this word, is not a real element. But it is a real world, right? Since the 1950s, engineers and scientists have used the word to describe the perfect material to solve a particular engineering problem, except that it doesn't exist. Come on, man. Let's go to Wikipedia. A hypothetical, fictional, or impossible material. Come on, man. Listen, I want to believe this story as much as you do. Aliens are exciting. I've finally proven that we have intelligent life in the universe is exciting. Okay, I get it. I get the hype. It's dope. It's amazing. It's different. It's something real. It's not real, but it's like the hype is real. And like, bruh, but you have to understand, once you start digging deeper into the story and you start doing your own research, something that we do all the time on Pod Caviar, then you start understanding that this stuff is more hype than reality, bruh. This stuff is more hype than reality. Okay? And this letter goes on to say that the unibotanium is very light and strong. Some of the pieces could not be bent, while others were extremely flexible. There were also some pieces that appeared to be rusted on the outside or to have been subjected to very high heat. Okay. That doesn't mean alien, right? Did we not have high heat here on Earth, right? They said there were no discernible welds or rivets anywhere in the wreckage, and my father said it looked like the entire ship had somewhere been cast in one piece. Also not alien. It's not alien, okay? But see, they add stuff that makes it seem like it's real, and like unibotanium is like a really real element. And that's real light and strong, like carbon fiber or like some sort of alloy. It could be some sort of aluminum alloy. There were some pieces that appear to be rusted on the outside, so it's not stainless steel. But it could be some sort of aluminum alloy. No discernible welds or rivets. Okay. I feel like that was... It's like I've seen aircraft that have something similar to this, but it wasn't alien. It's not hard to make something like that. You just hide the welds and the rivets, or just attach it somewhere else or some other way. You feel me? Somehow cast in one piece. Yeah, you can cast stuff and everything. You got cast irons. You can cast stuff, bruh. There were no motors or moving parts at all, which is like, come on, man. Like, how did it fly, man? How did it fly, man? How did it fly? How did it fly? You can say that aliens defy the laws of physics, but what do you mean? This is a planet. This is Earth. We have physics. We have the physics. And for the most part, people say, oh, he defined the laws of physics. He defined the laws of gravity. But there's never been no solid proof of that, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. And they always follow the same shit that's like, what is it? I just lost my train of thought. What is it? They all follow the same, it'll come back to me. But it's basically like, it's always something. It's always something catchy, no moving parts, no motors, no propellers, jets, or nozzles. How did it fly? Like, what the fuck is this, man? Did it get flung? Like a frisbee? Is that why it was a flying saucer? It goes on to say there were what looked like long, small lights, solid pieces of plastic of what was called spaghetti that were not wires or tubes with no apparent function. All right, okay. There were strange characters on some of the pieces, a type of writing my father had never seen before, although only on the inside of the ship. There were no marks on the outside. Ooh. So you got, and this, every conspiracy theory that deals with aliens or UFOs has the same thing. Flying saucer. Some of the pieces were light and strong. It can be bent, but others weren't flexible. But some of them were extremely flexible, and they could survive high heat. There were no welds or rivets. There were no jets. This is the part that gets me. There were no motors or moving parts at all. No propellers, jets, or nozzles. There were no visible cables, switches, gauges, vacuum tubes, or electronics of any kind. What? An advanced alien spaceship? And then there's some sort of hieroglyphic like writing only on the inside of this ship, right? That we never we never could decipher or translate. Come on, man. But we have hieroglyphics from Egypt that we have deciphered and have translated, right? But these hieroglyphics that were supposedly alien, we can't. Okay. All right. Cool. There was also a bunch of loose objects with no apparent purpose. The strangest objects he said he found were metal reclining seats the size of a child. This is apparently where the aliens, quote unquote, sat at, with notches in the head, the body, arms, and legs. Basically, they sat down in these chairs and they connected to the ship. That's how they connected and controlled the ship, right? It says there were no corpses inside the rubble, but then it goes on to say that they found some bodies, put them on ice, but the ice was melting and the bodies were decomposing and smelled bad. Which one is it, man? Which one is it? And apparently the aliens that they found had big 4-hemisphere brains that were divided by bone-like dividers. Like, come on, man. The general asked my father if he thought the Russians had done it, and my father replied no, unless those inscriptions inside are Russian, which they were not. The article says the story gets stranger from there. According to the eyewitness, 3 small bodies packed in ice that were decomposing and smelled bad were loaded onto his plane. He was told they were crew of the crashed ship, but it just said there were no corpses in the rubble. Come on, man. Look, I mean, the story is like it's disproving itself as it's being told. This is why I'm telling you, stop with the alien crash in Roswell. It's a hoax. It's an urban legend. It didn't happen, man. At most, it was just an experimental spacecraft. An experimental aircraft. An experiment. This is the same thing I say about Area 51. Everybody's like, oh, they got alien. They hide alien stuff there. Dude, if aliens existed and we had a spacecraft here on Earth that crashed, let's say Roswell was real, would you put it in Area 51 when everybody knows where Area 51 is supposedly where you take the alien aircraft and in the spacecraft and you hide it? Come on, man. Like, maybe the government is hiding it in plain sight. No, that's not how the government works, bruh. It's just not. That's how people think the government works. That ain't how it works. They don't have time to be hiding in plain sight. No. Somebody would talk, bro. What do you mean? And that's why I have trouble believing, what's his face? The dude that said he used to work at Area 51. Yeah, I believe you used to work there, but the shit that you say they working at there, it probably ain't what you're saying it is. I believe that there are experimental aircraft being developed at Area 51 and experimental technology. But I don't think that these are aliens that came from different planets. I buy into the Philadelphia experiment and us trying to, and maybe somehow in some limited fashion of success, opening up different dimensions. That's more provable than it's provable word. Damn, I'm just making up words. That's more believable and can be. I'm going with provable. I can't think of another word. I'm blanking out. That's more provable than what you're saying happened in Roswell. Okay. What else does it say? He said the creatures were small and fragile humanoids with skin that looked like that of a shark. Unusually large heads, 2 arms, 6 fingers on each hand, of course. Why? Why would they just have 5 or 3? 2 legs, 2 large eyes, no lids, a mouth and a nose, no ears, teeth, or genitalia, and were the perfect size and shape to fit the formed metal reclining seats he had seen among the wreckage. They were immediately questioned by intelligence agents who ordered them never talk about what they had seen. Right. Forcing them to sign a confidentiality agreement, which probably never fucking happened. That they would be enforced under the penalty of treason. Right. Which isn't, that doesn't even make sense because you're not. He also said the wreckage was taken to a hangar somewhere and carefully reassembled like a giant puzzle, revealing the saucer-shaped ship. Yeah. He said also among the things he observed and or later learned include the writing inside the ship was never deciphered. When electrical currents were applied to the parts of the ship and the materials within it, they changed shape and exhibited strange properties that they didn't expand on. The ship's frame and fuselage were found to incorporate wiring and circuitry that were invisible to the naked eye. Definitely can be reproduced here on Earth. It's not something that's difficult to do. The creatures had circulatory systems, but no digestive organs. How would he know that? It was determined that the cause of the accident was lightning that struck the ship. Okay, that was why I went to the weather and I picked up the weather report from July 7th, 1947, like we talked about in the beginning of the episode, where there was no precipitation, there was high visibility, there was no wind, there was nothing. Okay? So how did lightning strike a ship that crashed in Roswell when there was no weather in the area that would produce a lightning strike? Lightning can strike within 5 miles, right? When we were in the Air Force, when the storm got within 5 miles, we had to go inside. We shut down and then, and that's the reason why. But if there's no weather in the area and the visibility is 6 miles out, then you see what I mean? The origin of the ship was never determined. Yeah, because it's not real. Okay. It was determined that the ship could travel and maneuver faster than the speed of light. How did you know that if you can't turn it on? If you couldn't reverse engineer any of it, you couldn't turn it on, you couldn't control it, you couldn't even decipher the what is it, the hieroglyphics that you found inside of it, but yet you knew that it was determined that the ship could travel and maneuver faster than the speed of light? No, it could not. And like I said, even if it could, how would the aliens have survived that trip? Dude, 1 light year. I'm going to look it up again. a light year distance? One light year is the distance light travels in 1 year. Light zips through the interstellar space at 186,000 miles per second in 5.88 trillion miles per year. If something is 1 light year away by now in 2021, we would know that there's intelligent life 1 light year away from us. We've never even come close to that. It's always been something weird, some weird number, you know? Even the closest, let's see, we have Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri is a gravitationally bound system of the closest stars and exoplanets to our solar system at 4.37 light years from the sun, right? So the closest system to us, Alpha Centauri, is 4.3 light years away, which is what did I say it was? That's like 20 trillion miles. Come on, man. The numbers add up. The truth doesn't add up, though. Right? This letter also states that the witness acquired a set of classified documents which contain the details, quote unquote, of the advanced form of telekinesis generated by the creatures as propulsion. Dude, the aliens were dead. We weren't able to clone them. We weren't able to turn the spaceship on. We didn't know anything about the writings that were inside, but we knew that it could travel the speed of light. We knew that the aliens used but we know all this stuff about the aliens, that there were no bodies found at the rubble, but were found on the rubble, and they were transported on ice and badly decomposing, but didn't exist, but existed. Come on, man. It doesn't make sense. The person that sent the letter said, I'm not looking for publicity or notoriety. Yeah, you are, bro. It's what the kids call clout chasing. And that's exactly what this story is. And it's been that way from the start. It says either this is the greatest made up story in the history of aliens and UFOs, and that's what it is. I'm not even going to finish the sentence. That's just what it is, bruh. You know? How much time? 43 minutes? Yeah, we got to wrap it up. But listen, I know we talk about aliens all the time. Graham and I have had many different conversations about it. This is a Bill Cosby commercial. Man, that's crazy what happened to him, how he turned out. That's insane. But yeah, man, it's like, I want to believe that it is true. And I come into these conspiracies, I kind of come in here and I'm like, okay, I look at it as it's the truth. How can I debunk it? Let's say it's the truth. Make it make sense. And a lot of times, if you just read it and you have some general knowledge of things in Google, you disprove a lot of these theories. In Roswell, the Roswell incident was more likely the crash of an experimental aircraft that was designed and tested by humans on Earth. The military and the government did not want our adversaries or the general public knowing that we were testing this aircraft that crashed. So they scrapped the story that the Army put out about recovering a saucer-like object, and they just used the weather balloon story as a cover-up. These are things that happen a lot. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. It happens so much that we used to joke about that shit all the time in the Air Force. Oh, it's a weather balloon. It's a weather balloon. There's a weather balloon. And I've seen a lot of cool shit technology. But it has always been something that was produced on this planet. And the advancements that have been made through technology didn't come from some alien technology. It came from scientists and engineers and like humans here on this planet, bruh. Do you think that because when I grew up, used to have big ass tube televisions, right? They were huge, man. They were huge. You could smell the static that came off the screen, right? But now we got flat screen TVs that we mount on the wall. Do you think that we got that from bug-eyed aliens? No, man. It's just a general. I forgot what it's called. It's called. Hold on. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's a theory that dictates that every so often computer chips will shrink in size. That way they become more advanced, that we can use more of them. This is why we have laptops like MacBook Airs. We have flat screen TVs. We don't have these big, humongous computers that take up rooms and need like massive amounts of cooling, you know? It's not because an alien spaceship landed one time and then all of a sudden we've been, reverse engineering their technology that we, like, why, how would we even translate any of that? You know? No. It's just evolution on a humanity scale, on a human scale, and this is just the progression of us as humans. Let me skim and make sure I didn't miss anything. And there's like a picture, alleged fragment of the Roswell ship taken by Major Jesse Marcel, containing writing, and it just looks like some bullshit that was made on it's like a triangle, an A, 3 lines, a circle. Like, come on, man. Oh, bullshit. They deny it. Genetics. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Fourth body had been recovered. Yeah, man. It's like, you know, it's nothing here that says, yeah, this is real. It's just more of the same shit that we've heard. That all you got to do is have general knowledge of physics, aircraft, and Google, and just disprove all of this. And then when you say it out loud, you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, you're saying this and then you're saying this. So obviously there's a lot of bullshit that's going on in here. And so we just don't have enough to say that it's real. So if you have enough proof to disprove it, then why are we still following this? Why are we still blindly believing that Roswell was a crashed alien ship when we have mounds and mounds of evidence and logic that dictates that it's just a bunch of bullshit? And that's it. That's the episode. Thank you for listening to Pod Caviar. Make sure you subscribe to Pod Caviar. Make sure you subscribe to the 1 Gram Army podcast. These are 2 of the most widely available podcasts in the world. You can get them both wherever you get your podcasts from. Okay? It's the start of season 7. Graham is taking a little hiatus from the 1 Gram Army podcast, but he's still working. We still talk fairly often, and he's doing a lot of big things. He's going to come back, and it's going to be amazing, right? So, and I'm all for taking a hiatus, and it was one of the reasons why I made sure that I set up Pod Caviar in a manner that splits it up per season, so that after the end of one season, I take a little break. I just walk away from podcasting, man. You know, I just take a deep breath. I get away from it. I put it down. I still promote it, but I let people know that we're in between seasons and it's just a little hiatus. But yeah, Graham has my support 100%. And he knows that. That'll never change. He's doing great things. He's retooling the 1 gram army. It was never a question of did he want to just walk away from it and like, no, this is the end. No, he was like, look, man, ever since the pandemic happened, he'd been hitting the podcasting hard, bruh. So he got burned out. And that's perfectly believable because from the start of the 1 gram army podcast to how it was when he took his hiatus, oh my God, right? You know, if you took that podcast and threw it in Roswell, people would think that it was another alien spacecraft and we would have another 20 years of urban legends and letters and witnesses and all this, all these stories, right? But it's a great podcast. I'll be so glad when it comes back. I will be there. We will be doing Zoom. We got some great ideas coming up. You got to subscribe to the 1 gram army podcast. You got to subscribe to Pod Caviar. You got to go to twitch.tv/nothavingit and subscribe to Game Caviar. You got to go to Shirt Caviar. You don't even have to buy anything on Shirt Caviar, bro. I want you to go to shorturl.at and just scroll to the bottom of the front page. And if you see something that you like, you are more than welcome to use code OGA at checkout for 10% off your order. Listen. A great episode to a great start of a new season of Pod Caviar. Next week is going to be another episode. This is amazing. Okay. If you have any thoughts about Roswell, anything that proves that, yeah, it's legit aliens, there's really aliens, please do so. Follow me on Twitter at @NotHavingIt. I will put all of this in the description along with the links to this article and the OG website that the Bro Bible article linked off of and used it as a source. So let me know what you think. I'll be on Twitter every day. I'll be around. You know how to get in touch with me. It ain't hard. Let me know and we'll discuss it and then we'll go from there. But thank you for listening to Pod Caviar. I'm excited to start this season and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.